going to get started. First and foremost, thank you all for being here and welcome to our spring session of the Academic Senate. I'm going to call this meeting to order at 3:02. And we're going to get started with our land acknowledgement. Before we begin, we believe it's important to open our meeting by acknowledging the indigenous land that we share. Pasadena City College is a learning community within the indigenous homelands of the people who have been known as the Gabrielino Band of Mission Indians of the Shi'ikwanga Village and Quiche Nation. We acknowledge the painful history of genocide and forced removal from this land on which we gather. We honor all indigenous people, past, present, and future, in their continued survival and contributions to our society. We also honor the legacy of the African diaspora and recognize that this country would not exist without the free enslaved labor of Black people. We share these acknowledgements to raise awareness about histories that are too often erased or forgotten. We recognize our place in this history and to affirm our commitment to social justice, systemic change, and anti-racism. Again, welcome to Academic Senate. Okay. So, Professor Walker, are there any public comments?
No, not at this time.
Okay, and do I have a motion to approve the minutes from our last meeting?
Gina, before that, can I make a motion to amend the agenda, please?
Yes.
Yes. So I would like to move to amend our agenda for today's meeting in order to remove items G4 and G6 under information items. Armia and I can both speak to those at our next meeting, and to add an item to new business under I1, which is the Academic Senate statement in response to the return to campus.
Do I have a second? Anthony Francoso. Thank you, Dr. Francoso, for a second. Okay. Is there any discussion on this? Okay. Then if there are no objections, we can approve the amendment of the agenda by unanimous consent. Are there any objections? Seeing none, the motion passes. Okay. Now, do I have a motion to approve the minutes from our last meeting? Okay, Milan. I see Milan. Do I have a second? Okay, Ken Simon, thank you so much. Is there any discussion? Okay. Then if there are no objections, we can approve the minutes, our last minutes, by unanimous consent. Seeing no objections, the minutes are approved. Thank you. So item E, our constituency reports. Do I have a representative from the, I see Mark Wentworth. Hey, Mark.
Hi.
Report from the FA.
Hi.
Hi.
Thanks for being here. First, I want to thank all the faculty for the support that we've been having over the last week. It's been awesome. It's been an awesome response. I think I just want to recap a little bit about what's happened and where we are right now, just to clear the air a little bit. So in the fall, throughout the fall, we were busy negotiating a return to campus MOU. And then on New Year's Eve, we were contacted by the district and we were advised that we were going to go remote for 2 weeks. And the reasons that we were given to go remote are, number one, an abundance of caution. Number two, a recommendation from the chancellor's office to align with the Cal States, okay? And so at that point, we agreed that it was a good idea and that we would revisit this issue before we actually did return. On the 12th, we scheduled a meeting with the district to discuss this, and the the meeting was canceled, and we were told it was because there was nothing new to talk about. Okay, we did meet on the 19th with the district, and we proposed to them that we felt that we should delay the reopening for a couple of weeks until February 12th to stay in line with the Cal States, and also to make sure that this surge that we are in the middle of started to subside. We were told by them at that time that they would get back to us. And we said, well, when? They said, well, maybe Friday, maybe Monday. We demanded that we talk to them on Friday. We negotiated with them for 7 hours on Friday, trying to get them to agree to change the return date. And in the end, they refused. And in the end, they said that it was non-negotiable. They felt that they did not have to negotiate this return date. On the 22nd, we were called back in to negotiate more. They still refused, said it was non-negotiable. They didn't have to negotiate it. This was their right to do this, and that this is what was going to happen. And so that's where we are today. We feel that the district has broken the law by not failing to negotiate a negotiable item. We feel that the MOU provides them or actually requires them to negotiate any changes. And that is why we are in the position we are in now. We have polled our faculty. 80% of our faculty say that it is unsafe to return at this point. That is why we are advocating that the return is not good. We will continue to advocate that. We feel that it is unsafe to come back at this point. Nothing's changed. Nothing from the first 2 weeks has changed. And we can't understand why the college is taking this tact. We've been bullied, we've been threatened, we've been smirked at, we've been laughed at, and clearly we've got nowhere. We are not giving up. We are more than willing to continue to negotiate as soon as the district feels that they are ready to negotiate in good faith. I would also like to point out that at this point in time, we don't even know whether it's safe to return to PCC. If you look at our COVID dashboard, it hasn't been updated since the 16th. That's 10 days ago. And it was only updated yesterday from the 1st. So that's our stance. And that's why we feel the way that we feel. We will be filing an unfair labor practice. And if you want to keep more up to date on what's going on, we do have a general meeting this Thursday at noon. And that is my update.
Thank you, Mark. Are there any questions for the FA? Okay, so seeing none, we'll move on to our next constituency report. That would be the adjunct faculty.
Yes, hi everyone. Yes, I'm going to defer to Dr. Bernardo since she's the new chair of the Adjunct Faculty Issues Committee. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're muted, Dr. Bernardo.
I keep unmuting myself, so I'm not sure. Sorry about that. There was an emergency meeting of the adjunct faculty that was held on Saturday, in which I invited people to express their opinions and their feelings about having to go back in person at full capacity. And to say the least, there weren't very many people in favor of that. The greater number of adjunct faculty, and I would say this is about 70%, said that professors should have a choice, because obviously there are some disciplines in which, for example, performing arts and music, they need to have their students face-to-face in order to properly prepare for performances and stuff like that. However, on the other hand, there are some other classes like exercise classes, for example, that are scheduled to be held in small rooms at full capacity with people exercising with N95 masks on equipment that doesn't seem to ever be cleaned. And so obviously that's not viable. So the position of the adjunct faculty as polled is that each professor should have a choice whether or not they want to go ahead and return into in-person instruction until the cases have dropped, until it's safe to come back in general. And so I just wanted to report on that. That's where we are now. Thank you.
Okay, are there any questions for adjunct faculty? Seeing none, we'll move on to the classified senate. Is there a representative for classified senate? Hi, Audrey. Go ahead. You're muted. You're muted, Audrey. We can't hear you. Okay, what we can do is move on to the associated students and come back to classified senate. So associated students.
Hello, everyone. First and foremost, I wanted to tell everyone that I was at the quad today, introducing students to associated students. And for students who did feel safe to come to school today, they were very excited about being on campus. And also there was like students who were sophomores and they were not on campus for 2 years. So it was like a very new experience for them. First off, I wanted to say that this week is welcome week. So we will be in the quad early in the morning to around like 4 o'clock from today to Thursday. And then I can send out flyers for everyone through Judith. And then also I would like to announce that we have a new vice president of publicity. Her name is Rachel Chang. She's responsible for creating flyers for associated students. And then also we have club registration that is opening. So I encourage everyone to have students create their clubs for PCC. And we will be having the club rush from February 16th to 17th from 12 to 1. And also I wanted to thank professors who were very accommodating to students today, because I knew that students weren't able to make classes due to the long test lines. And so they're very grateful for professors who were very flexible for them today. Thank you.
Thank you. And per Audrey Joseph, the classified senate has no report. Is there a representative from the Management Association? I'm sorry, I see your hand, Dr. Stevens. Go ahead.
Can you guys hear me?
Pardon me?
Awesome. I just wanted to confirm, when is the club rush days again?
It is from February 16 to 17 from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m.
Thank you so much.
Of course.
Thank you. Is there a representative from Management Association available to report? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to the Academic Senate Officers Report. The President's report is first. I'm going to yield my time to Dr. Angela Jonas so that she can answer whatever questions the faculty may have about the return to campus. She's made it clear that she will not answer collective bargaining questions, but if we have questions about instruction, feel free to ask.
Okay, and the first thing I want to do is start off by first saying thank you. Thank you to everyone for being here and for serving our students and for being part of PCC. The second thing I want to say is that we had some challenges with testing this morning, and part of that happened because of a lack of staffing on the part of our vendor. And part of it happened because of a delay in email results getting back on tests to our students, to our faculty, and to our staff. And I am sorry for that. Basically what happened was the vendor had come and looked at everything on campus, walked the campus, understood what was happening, and I think became overwhelmed today. And unbeknownst to me, those results were not going out. And I want to thank Patrick Rock, because I ran into him on campus. I was walking around campus trying to check on things. And I bumped into Patrick and he said, well, I'm concerned because the person at the testing I went through said that they're not going to be checking these results until later. So I don't know what my students are going to do. And I immediately went to my team and demanded that we get the CEO of the vendor here, which we did. And we met with him and explained to him why that was not acceptable, why that is not what they promised they were going to do, because what they promised they were going to do was do the testing, and then everybody would get an email within 15 minutes with their results. And so what we've done is we have to help them, because we want everybody to be successful. We want the vendor to be successful, and we want our students, faculty, and staff to be successful. So we are currently deploying members of our leadership team, management association and leadership, to go out and help get those email results out to everyone. And tomorrow we will be doing just walk-up testing rather than drive-through testing. And the reason is that that will also speed up the process. And these are the kinds of things that you can't plan for. And I'm sorry that they happened. And again, as soon as we were made aware of them, we took action to fix it, because that was not what they promised. What they promised was a person goes up, gets their test, and 15 minutes later, they get the result. Now, I do want to emphasize that so far, folks have been quite understanding of the delays, and I do appreciate the fact that folks have been patient, and I know it's hard and it is frustrating. I myself went out to Foothill and did testing out there, checked out what was going on out there. They were our vendor last week, and so they have a different process. And I believe that it will get better as the days go on. But the goal has always been to keep people safe and to give people a feeling of safety. And so again, I apologize for the delays that happened today. I apologize for the misinformation, because again, the vendor promised a person takes a test, within 15 minutes, they get a result, and we're in the process of fixing that. So that's, if anybody has any questions. Dr. Ramirez is here with me as well. I know some faculty had to scramble today. Students had to scramble. I'm very sorry about that. And obviously, we want to do what we can to make this better going forward.
Are there any questions for Dr. Andrew Jonas or Dr. Laura? Okay, I see Rebecca.
Yes. Are there any plans to do social distancing in the walk-up line? I noticed today, like, everyone was kind of crowded together. So if we're not allowed to be in our car, is there going to be social distancing in the walk-up only line?
I will pass that along, and the goal is so that people won't feel bunched up. And so thank you for pointing that out, and I will discuss that with our folks.
Dr. Bernardo?
Hi, thank you. Just because so many people have asked this question, and I don't know if anybody has a clear answer, is there a reason, or what might be the district or the administration's reason for saying that everybody must return to full in-person instruction today and not having it, reassess in 2 weeks, for example?
You know what, that is, you've already heard a report from the FA that is their bargaining position. So I cannot answer that question in this instance, because it would appear to be me direct bargaining with the faculty.
Okay.
We believe, here's what I can say. We believe with the safety protocols that we have in place, it is safe to return to the college. We have mandatory masking. We are doing baseline testing for everyone. We have HEPA air filters in every classroom. We have 50% capacity in every classroom. We have a mandatory vaccine requirement. We have everything in place to have this be a safe environment. That's all I can say is those are the components, but I can't say any more.
I'm sorry, may I ask a quick follow-up?
Yes.
Is there any support for faculty in terms of sort of having to mask police, basically? So if there are students who are not wanting to abide by the mask protocols and the professors try to, if there's resistance there, is there any backup from the administration?
Yes, absolutely, because that is a violation of the student code of conduct. So if a student refuses to mask up, they can be removed from the class and they should be reported to student discipline, and we will follow up with them. And we have followed up. We actually had cases of that in the fall with some of the students who were here for face-to-face classes, depending on the class. Absolutely. If somebody refuses to comply, we will follow up.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Jeff Hupp.
Hi there.
Jeff.
I've had students today and myself have the same problem where we did get the email with our test results, but then we have login issues. So we're trying to sort those out.
Yes.
Meanwhile, we got an email saying that the college is in support of the idea that people can, while they wait for their results, return to campus with their mask on, which that's a big difference from what the message has always been about how important it is for the safety that people not be on campus, be on the testing site until they have a negative test result. So how do we still prioritize safety when we make changes based on these sort of errors and problems?
I completely agree, Jeff, and that was an error. And it was based on the belief that people, by the time they went through the line, like in their car, and they drove to a parking lot and they got themselves ready to go to their office, that they would have their result. And that didn't happen. So that's why, in order for people to, let's say if they walk up and get their test tomorrow, they will, students, faculty, whomever, will need to wait until they get their results before they go to a classroom or to their office. So I apologize for the confusion.
But are we saying that people should be on campus while they don't know their results?
Well, people have to come on campus in order to get the test. So they need to come onto campus and get their test and wait to get their results. And then if they're positive, they will have a second test. They'll have a PCR test that will either confirm or show that their first test was a false positive. But while that's happening, they need to be here to get the test.
But after they get the test and while they wait for the results, the email I read from my dean was that I should be on campus waiting for my results.
Well, if the results are coming, if the results are coming in 15 minutes, one would assume that you wouldn't walk away from the leave the campus for 15 minutes and then come back. You can wait for your results. And remember, we have a masking requirement, both inside and outside. We are distributing KN95 masks to all employees, or N95 masks for any employee who wants to be fitted for one. And we're handing out surgical masks to all students. So the masking, everyone is masked, and we already had a vaccine mandate.
Okay, Josh Fleming.
Hey there, I had a question regarding a student sending me proof of getting a test exemption because they had previously tested positive, and COVID support had then provided them with a testing exemption that they wouldn't need to test again for 90 days. I don't remember any previous communication about that, so I was wondering if that could be explained.
You know, that's a great question. I cannot explain that, Josh, but I will find out and I will get back to the Senate, because I'm not aware of that. So can you remind me of that again? A student
A
said,
a student tested positive on January 5th, reported it to the school. And then COVID support gave them, responded back and gave them this letter that said that they were exempt from having to get tested and for 90 days. So that would put it in sometime during April. Which,
okay,
but during that time, they could still potentially be, positive again or test, but it stopped. I sent it to my dean, who sent it to Dean Cobb, and I think I'm stuck there because I'm sure we're putting out a lot of fires. But
okay.
I don't know.
Well, I will follow. Yeah. Yeah, no, I'll follow up on that and get back to the Senate because that's a great question.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, Dr. Stevens.
Okay, hi. I have a couple of questions. I guess I want to echo kind of what Jeff had shared. For some of us, we did not get an email with an update on coming to campus without our results from the district. And so that was a little bit alarming. And just to speak to myself personally, that made me feel really, really uncomfortable because that was a change in procedure. And without us being notified, we're just hearing it word of mouth from people on campus. And so just want to ask going forward, if there is a change like that that affects all of us, can the district just like send out a message to let us know that that's accurate?
Okay. So the information, I'm sorry, to say the first part of that again?
Oh, yes. So the change to where at first we all had to be tested before we could enter into our offices, our classrooms, and things of that nature.
Yeah.
Then we got changed to where without your results, you could still go into your offices and classrooms.
Right. That was an error. So yes, you're right. That absolutely, that is not the case. You do need to have your test results. And that was an error because we believed that by the time people got situated, they would have their results in hand.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. So that's my,
okay.
Yeah.
So my next question, sorry guys, I got a few. I'm not really sorry about it. I have to ask these. How was it safe for us to be back in the office? So you're saying right now, like we shouldn't be in the classroom or the office if our results did not come through for today.
Right. You should have your results today.
Got it. Okay.
Right.
And then my next question, to make it a little quicker, when will we be able to get the N95 masks?
You just need to talk to your dean, department head, whoever it is, because they are to provide those, as well as you have to be fitted for them. So they will provide those as well as somebody to fit it for you.
Okay, thank you. And then my last three questions here real quick is what accommodations will be available to staff and students who cannot stand or be outside to wait for the results? So you know how we're only having we're the walk-up version now.
Mm-hmm.
For some of our community members, students, and staff that cannot do that, will there be seats out there? Will they be able to come to them? What will be the options for those people?
I think the option for the students would be to approach their counselor, or especially if they have a DSPS counselor and they have an accommodation. I think we just need to know that we need that. And I will pass that along. I'm having a meeting at 4:00 to do a status update and find out exactly how things finished off the day. So I will bring that up so that we can include that as something that we need to do at least one of the locations.
Okay, yeah, that would be really awesome. I think to have that option for students.
Okay.
Just going to like their counselor, like myself, I'm one of the DSPS counselors, I think would make it more challenging for the students to bounce around from place to place.
Okay.
They wouldn't have the results before they saw me, and that would be a big no-no for me.
Okay.
So just point that out. And then, okay, my last.
Dr. Stevens, I'll take your next question, but I need to answer other people's right now.
Yeah.
So Milan.
Thank you. My question was, we said that there was going to be walk-up only tomorrow. Is
Yes.
that permanently moving forward?
That is permanently moving forward to avoid the waiting in cars. Yes. Because
Okay,
we can do it more expeditiously. We assessed and figured out that it would go more quickly, and especially as a space consideration, cars take up a lot of space. So yes. So that's what we're going to do, walk-up testing.
Okay, and the testing for faculty, will it still occur only in lot 5?
We are, I believe so, but we're, again, we're fine tuning the directions. So we'll get out that information to everybody today. So everyone knows exactly, but I believe it will be in lot 5 for faculty, but please look for the email because we're going to fine tune that this afternoon.
Okay, because the only thing I anticipated was, say, for example, I typically park on Hill Street, like maybe in lot 1 or
Oh,
something.
okay.
And then without a car, you know, I would have to walk across campus to 5 and then wait and then go back. So with the drive up, it wasn't an issue. I could drive
Right.
up and then drive back to my normal lot I park in because it's closer to my office or my class.
Right.
And so so the answer is await the email.
Await the email, but that's a good point about there being maybe more than one location where employees check in.
Okay. And then just to clarify, we need 1 test a week and then 1 test within 72 hours of your first time being on campus, or because, for example, I teach on Tuesdays and Thursdays only. So
Then
I got
you're-
tested today
You're fine.
to cover me. Okay, perfect.
Yes, you're fine. The faculty are doing baseline testing this week. Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, Sheila?
Mine's very similar to Milan's last question. So my students were saying if they got tested Saturday, came
Yes.
today, but then they have a class on Thursday, do they need to get tested again in between?
No, they are fine. They
Okay.
got tested the first week of class.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
Okay, Dr. Stevens.
Okay, this is my last question, really quick, brief. A few faculty have shared that they applied for accommodations during this pandemic time due to their conditions and have either been declined or have not gotten a response. Is it the college's stance that they're not offering accommodations during this pandemic time of COVID-19?
When you say accommodations, could you be more specific about what you mean?
Yes, so they have conditions that where they need some form of accommodation. It could be something as simple as a different keyboard to work in their office, a different location to work at, different equipment to be able to get their job done. And at this time, they're just not, from what I'm understanding, and I was asked to bring this to Academic Senate, is that they're not receiving any response or being denied for that accommodation.
Okay, if I could recommend that you have those individuals reach out to me, because my understanding is that we're following all accommodation rules as required by the government. So I'm not aware that that's been an issue, but please have them reach out to me.
Okay, Dr. Laura, go ahead.
I was gonna say, if you could maybe send that list to me, Dr. Lopez, so I can work with HR on that,
Mhm.
on the faculty end.
Will do.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you.
Okay, Armia Walker?
Okay, can everybody hear me?
Mhm.
A couple things. To back up to one of the questions for the inline, now this is going to be inline. Will there be free parking available
Well,
for students?
no, because our parking they would have to have a parking pass anyway.
Okay. And then the other thing is, will all of these new things that are coming out, will there be a follow-up message sent out to let people know about? Okay, perfect.
Yes.
And the last question is there any, will there be any follow-up with deans? Because we've been hearing varying messages sent from various faculty in various departments, and deans are saying different things like, I got to check on you in your classroom, things of that nature. And to go back to Carmen's point, I know for sure there was a faculty member. This is my eyes. A student showed me their Canvas email, and it said, hello, I'm no longer your professor due to, health issues or whatever. Your new professor is so-and-so. I'm not sure what that was about, so I can't say, that was anyone's, issue here. But I just wanted to know, are our deans sending out the same messaging, because we've heard various things, and it's from the faculty I've spoken to, and I keep saying me, but I've heard it also from other ASEC members, that faculty are being intimidated. So I just wanted to know, not saying, again, that's not on the district or on you or anyone, but is there a way to have uniform messaging?
I'm going to let Dr. Ramirez answer that, because she has met with the deans, and I believe the goal of that meeting was to have uniform messaging. Dr. Ramirez?
So yes, as far as our transition today on coming back to campus, we have met with the deans regularly to let them know not only the communication about return to campus and how we can facilitate that. I know there was some hiccups today regarding testing. And we kind of talked about that already and what happens after you test. So we will be meeting again to clear that up, but the district has never said that the faculty or students should be on campus without a negative test. That has not been the case. As far as faculty telling students that they are no longer their instructor, if they're doing it through Canvas, and there have been instances where faculty have decided they don't want to teach, part-time faculty, or there's been changes to schedules, and the Canvas shell has already been set up, and they've already reached out to students, then yeah, we want to make sure that there's some kind of a warm handoff of students so they know that there was a change in the instructor, who their new instructor is. If there's specific cases that you want to bring to my attention, please do, and we can manage those on a case by case at this point.
And the deans saying they're checking on people in classrooms. Was that addressed or advised? Or?
So I know there were cases where students were getting messages to not come to class. And that was problematic, because if it's a face-to-face class, students cannot be told don't show up. So in those instances, yes, I'm sure the deans were checking to see what was going on.
And because if there were students in the classroom who either didn't get that message or came to class anyway, a dean would need to know whether or not the instructor was there to manage the fact that there were students but no instructor.
We knew there were many instances where faculty were not able to make it to class on time, and we don't want students sitting there not knowing what's going on.
Right. So we're trying to help, especially if the faculty member hadn't gotten their test result and didn't feel like they could go to their class. So we were trying to run down a lot of that too.
Thanks.
Okay, Brian Wilbur.
All right, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Thanks. Quick questions, 2 quick ones. Can you look into your crystal ball and predict if we might have a booster mandate, number 1? And number 2, how long do we anticipate the necessity of testing? Is there a curve we're looking at, or a number, or is there a time where we won't anticipate having to test anymore before coming back into campus? Thank you.
Yes. Okay. So the first one, the booster mandate is a subject of bargaining. So I'm not going to comment on that because I can't. The second one, that's also part of what we're looking at right now, is especially as we consider boosters. So if a booster requirement winds up going into place, then it does change the calculus on the need for testing, because the need for testing is lowered as individuals have both vaccines plus the booster. So it is an ongoing conversation about the amount of testing everybody is going to need. This week is a baseline test. So that's what we're focused on right now. But again, the boosters, and that will change the testing piece, but we're not there yet. Stay tuned.
Okay, are there any other questions for Dr. Andrew-Jonas?
And if I can just say thank you to everyone. Again, I know this has been a tough day, and I apologize for that. I think in the end, it will smooth out. This has been a little bit like Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. I get it. And just thank you. Thank you for all of your hard work on behalf of our students and for being here. And you know how to find me.
Thank you, Dr. Andrew-Jonas.
Thank you.
Okay, So we'll move on with our agenda. And do we have a vice president's report?
So I have a report from one of our committees, so I'll put it in the chat. But facility standing committees gave us their 4 goals for this year, that they adopted developing departmental equipment purchase guidelines, support success centers for spring 2020 grand opening, improving communication around work order submissions, and providing students greater access to microwaves around campus. Candace Jones is spearheading 2 initiatives that she will bring back to the Facility Standing Committee in January for a formal vote, working with associated students to develop a student community space and establishing a family resource center, likely in the former Ujima office NCC, for parents to obtain services when they have their children with them. Facility need everyone's help to monitor the Air Max purifiers across campus. If the air purifier in your area needs service or a filter replacement indicated by the red HEPA or carbon service light, please submit a ticket with this request to facilities. And then they provided a ticket for the request. I think that's all my report for now.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Remillo. Okay, do we have a secretary's report?
No report at this time. Thank you.
Okay, and do we have a treasurer's report?
Yes, we do. I just have an update on our balances. There's an increase in $230.80 to our business savings account as a result of members' dues. And there is a reduction in $758.17. These funds were used to purchase books for several of our committees, including the Social Justice Committee, which are reading on the topic of liberatory outcomes. And so our total overall current balance is $22,946.87, a reduction of $527.37. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And we will move on with our agenda. I think I saw Dr. Olivo come in. Dr. Olivo, do you have our student services report or update? Are you here? I thought I saw you. Uh-oh. Dr. Olivo? Okay, we'll move on to an instructional update by Dr. Laura Ramirez. We'll come back to student services.
Hey, everyone. So a few updates. There's a lot going on, obviously, but a few organizational changes I may have already mentioned in a couple of spaces. So you may be aware that Dr. Natalie Russell has left the institution to take on another opportunity. And so the languages, ESL, and linguistics program is now under the supervision of Dean Tuktuk Bangtaresh. And then with that change, the Writing Center has been moved to fall under the umbrella of the Success Centers. So if you recall, the last time we made that transition, that was one of the centers that kind of stayed behind in its own division, but now it's part of that umbrella program that's linked very closely to our guided pathways work. So Dean Osegueda has also left the institution and taken on a position at Orange Coast College as a vice president there. And so the Success Centers are now under the supervision of Dean Stephanie Fleming. And then finally, our new Dean of Continuing Education, Adult Education, CEC, started today, Dr. Francisco Suarez. So those are some of the updates I have regarding organizational changes. We will be looking to, we're planning a retreat aligned with our student success teams and the work that's happening under the Student Success Centers.
Okay, are there any questions for Dr. Ramirez? Okay, thank you, Dr. Ramirez, for your update. Dr. Olivo, are you there? Okay, I think she may be having some audio issues. We'll move on to, I don't see Baba Blinsky. Okay. Then we'll move on to Armia Walker with the social justice. Oh, there's Dr. Oliva. Okay, hi, Dr. Oliva. Do you have an update for us?
Hi, everyone. I'm working the Wet Hut, so I have my mask on. Just wanted to say hello and make sure that you saw my message that I sent through Gina and the Senate so that you all have information about emergency aid, Lancer Care, Lancer Pantry, and information to help students as they navigate being here at the beginning of the semester. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Olivo. Are there any questions for Dr. Olivo before we lose her? Okay, then we will move on to the Social Justice Committee update with Armia Walker.
Hello, everyone. Just a really quick update on our group. Your Social Justice Committee has been working really hard on creating space to share ideas about how we will implement social justice throughout campus, and all of the information we've been working on in General Senate, such as talking about different approaches to liberatory outcomes. And so the main thing we shared in our last meeting was coming up with a uniformed definition that would suit PCC specifically. And I'm going to put that definition in the chat. Hopefully it comes out right. So this is the definition that we came up with. I told the group I would share it with our general senators. And I will, should I read it or just let people look at it? Or I'll read it. I got time. Academic Senate Social Committee. This is our working definition of social justice. Liberatory education begins by enabling the entire PCC community to confront objectively the existence of intersectional oppression, for example, homophobia, anti-Blackness, etc., in higher education, and by thinking critically about the effects on our entire community. We will do this by holding individuals, the institution, and its structures accountable, with hopefulness for creating authentic change and liberation in the classroom, on campus, and throughout society, while intentionally changing the systems of oppression through praxis, self-determination, and measured success. So this was created by the entire committee. It is a working definition, and we will revisit it in a future meeting. If you have any suggestions, you can email me personally at acwalker. And I can present it to the committee. So those of you on camera now or in the meeting now, thank you, members who worked on this. And that's all I have to share at this time. My time is up.
Okay. Thank you, Professor Walker. Are there any questions for Professor Walker in regards to Social Justice Committee or this definition? Awesome. Okay, so we're going to move on to item H, old business, and this is attached in your board documents. It is an updated version. This is our second read of the AP 7210, the third section, and this will be presented by Dr. Bernardo. Dr. Bernardo, you have the floor.
Hi, thank you very much. When I first presented this in November, I was informed that this section of 7210 that we had taken in order to rewrite was incorrect as it stands in board docs. What the current policy is that we had actually tackled this issue in the Academic Senate back in May, and there was new language. And so what I did was, because it was not in there and it wasn't anywhere, I went back into old documents from May and sort of plucked out the new language and all of the crossouts and things like that. And so I restarted from what that language was and then added our new edits. So in the now revised revision, If you scroll, because I just put everything in there for reference so that people can see how the language changed and who added what. And it should be appropriately color coordinated. But at the end, at the clean edit of revised adjunct faculty issued proposal for language for section 3 of AP 7210, because we were not aiming to change the entire 7210 as academic senate voted on back in May. We just wanted to change that section 3 in order to basically include adjunct faculty in hiring committees. And so that is what that revised section 3 is about. I saw on the agenda today that Bob Lazinski was supposed to talk about 7210. For some reason, I'm not sure exactly what that was about, but as it sort of, it was about the same AP. I'm just interested to see what he would have had to say about that. But the new language is there, and I don't know if everybody has it up. Do you need me to share screen or? Okay.
Yes, please.
Okay. Let me see if I can make this bigger. Okay. This is the clean edit and selecting the hiring committee. This is just the section that we wanted to change and that we wrote sort of a combination of old language and new language for. And basically it is to reorganize hiring committees so that there isn't a sort of standing hiring committee, and instead there is a the hiring committees are reformed as needed so that more people have a chance to participate in the hiring process. That's one of the main changes. And also the other change would be to include adjunct faculty and non-tenured faculty on hiring committees, as long as they have been teaching continuously for over for at least 3 years, so that obviously the first semester or first year faculty maybe would not know the policies or procedures, but someone who has been around for at least 3 years, we're thinking that's a good number to be able to serve on the hiring committee. And there's the caveat here that, and this is in number 4, that positions to which a faculty member has applied or plans to apply at the time of the hiring committee selection shall be excluded from being able to and elected to serve on the same hiring committee tasked with filling that position. In other words, if you've applied to a particular opening, you are not able to serve on the hiring committee for that opening, which seems like it is obvious, but we had to obviously put that in there. So it is kind of like a self-recusal if you are going to be applying for that position. We left in some things that the Academic Senate had voted on back in May, like hiring committee may also include 1 or more student participants, etc. And then so that those are the basic bones of what we wanted to change. Thank you.
Okay, can you stop sharing now, Dr. Bernardo? Thank you. Okay, so we have a question. Go ahead, Milan.
Hi, was there language in there that kept it consistent with the current requirements, like EEO training? And I know that may be obvious, but I just want to know if there was any thought given to, or at least a blurb that says the adjunct faculty or non-tenured faculty that we're including would be subject to the same minimum standards as the people who are already being able to serve on those committees. I just don't know if that was in there or if it might be overlooked or maybe
Yes, we did keep that in there. That's section 3B, which says that anyone serving on the hiring committee must have successfully completed PCC's equal employment opportunity training within 3 years of committee appointment. So yes, it was kept in there.
Susan?
Yeah, I just have a question about compensation, being that this is part of our job as full-time faculty. If adjunct faculty are going to be brought forward, I know, having served on a hiring committee in the summer, we were off contract, so everybody had to get paid. So this feels like an HR question to me. Has anybody in HR been asked about this before we vote on it?
No, we have not asked HR about this. However, we wanted to sort of change the language to make it inclusive, but it doesn't mean that obviously it would be implemented immediately. There would have to be a process of discussing with HR whether there will be a stipend or compensation for adjunct faculty or non-tenured faculty. And we just wanted to sort of provide the language, provide the opportunity to be included, and then the rest can be discussed with HR.
Okay, are there any other questions? Okay, Brian?
On whose behalf is this AP written? I understand that Dr. Bernardo is involved in it, but the last time 7210 was rewritten, there was a committee designed to write this up. And again, the Senate voted on it and we moved it on. Now at this point, is there a committee that is designed? I hear we, and I know that Dr. Bernardo is the one that's presenting this, but on whose behalf are you presenting, Dr. Bernardo? And is this how things are normally done?
So there are now 2 new co-chairs of the Adjunct Faculty Issues Committee. And that is the committee that this is coming from. So we met last semester several times as Adjunct Faculty Issues Committee, and we worked on the language together, and then we all chose to forward it to the Academic Senate for opinions and for a vote.
Okay. Are there any other questions? Sorry for my phone going off. Are there any questions for Dr. Bernardo? Okay, so yes, Bethel.
Yeah, I just want to say that on, as a member of the Adjunct Faculty Issues Committee, I would urge my fellow senators to vote in favor of this. I think it's a direction that many adjunct faculty would appreciate being included in the decision-making processes of the college. So again, I urge my senators to vote in favor of the document. Thank you.
I'm sorry, if I might just add one thing also, as it stood, the original language and the language that the Academic Senate voted on in May, only tenured faculty. It wasn't even non-tenured faculty, full-time faculty that could serve on a hiring committee. It was only tenured faculty. So that would include both non-tenured full-time faculty as well as adjunct faculty. Thank you.
Okay, I saw a hand. Was that you, Sylvia? No more questions?
Yes, I have a question, but I think I read it. And so just want to make sure that we are talking about hiring full-time, every type of hiring position, including full-time. So we're talking about full-time hiring, correct? So for hiring full-time faculty, then you can have a committee that has part-time faculty serving in it.
As well as students, yes.
As well as
student
students,
representative, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, Talene.
Hello. I'm wondering about section C, number 5. I'm just wondering if there's a particular reason why that one's in parentheses. Is that something to discuss? I went to the clean edit towards the end of the document. I don't know if I think I'm looking at the correct document. And then it says, no one faculty member or administrator accepting the dean of the department, maybe that should say accept the dean of the department. That's it. I'm just asking for clarification, or if that's just a typo.
I think that was just, it used to be a parenthesis to another section, and I think I probably just forgot to take out the parentheses. Sorry about that. That's my error.
All good.
Okay, we've exceeded our time on this, but I don't see any additional questions from the senators. So how would you like to move forward? Would someone like to make a motion? Or would we like to bring this back for more discussion?
I move to take this to a vote.
Okay, and what are you, okay, we can take a vote. What are you moving to approve, to not approve? What are you moving towards?
To approve AP 7210 as presented by Dr. Bernardo.
Is there a second?
I second.
Okay. Is there any discussion on this? We had discussion on this. Okay. Susan.
Yeah, I just wanted to state that these are some kind of significant changes, and I would like to be able to present them to my division before I'm prepared to vote on it. So I'm not prepared to vote on this today.
Okay, Jeff Hutt. Thank you, Susan.
I'm starting to have some questions around the hiring committee process. So I'm feeling unsure of a vote at this time myself. Like, I'm wondering is there a procedure for how members of a hiring committee are selected? And would that procedure be different for people who are adjunct versus those who are not adjunct, and those who are not tenured versus those who are tenured? You know, so I think there's a lot of details that I don't want to have overlooked that we all might regret later if we don't have it laid out. Just kind of that's where my head is at right now.
Can
Okay, Brian,
I answer that quickly? I'm sorry.
Just a moment.
Oh,
go
sure.
ahead, Brian Whibbler, because we still have a motion on the floor. We're doing the discussion right now.
I would agree with what Senator Hupp mentioned. I agree that there's two separate things here too. There's the idea of full-time non-tenured faculty because they haven't earned it yet. That's one, if you've got a tenure track full-time professor that has yet to earn tenure, but is still within that specialty versus a non-full-time faculty that's within that specialty. These are different things. They should potentially be teased out and included in different APs. And I would argue that that's a significant issue, along with the HR issues that have popped up. But I'd like to talk to my division about this as well.
Okay, go ahead, Jose. If there's a question, then Dr. Bernardo, I'll go ahead and let you chime in.
Mine's not a question. I just wanted to mention that I'm in the same boat as Susan. I didn't have enough time to send the revisions to my department either. We did get a chance to send this AP to the old AP before the break to our division, and more than most of my division is not in favor of this at all. I sent out a poll of what they thought about this, and almost half of my division responded, and 70% of that half do not agree with this AP at all. So again, I just want to state that I think I need more time as well to share this with my department, the revisions that were sent last week.
Okay, so there is a motion on the floor, and the motion is a motion to approve. So I think we may have to take a roll.
I'm sorry, is it possible to, in order to help fulfill the request to take it back to the department, is there a possibility of withdrawing the motion in order to let this happen and let them discuss and bring it back?
Absolutely. You can withdraw your second.
I just want to make sure that that might be okay with the person who initiated the motion. I don't want to unsecond without.
Professor Constantine?
Yeah, I think the document was forwarded to everyone, so I would like to see us vote on it today. We've been working on this for a long time, and it's time that adjunct faculty are included in the process. You know, I don't understand why we as adjunct faculty are continue to be left out of the processes of the college when we represent the majority of the faculty on campus. Thank you.
If I may say one last thing in response to what has been said, the process of selecting the hiring committee in terms of the deans in the department, they each have their own ways of doing that. And this is not to infringe upon each dean or each department's way of selecting their hiring committee. And so this is not speaking to that. This is just stipulating that these things can be allowed and these things should be included in the hiring committee, however it is that the department or the dean does that.
Okay, so there is a motion on the floor. We'll go to a roll call vote. The motion is to approve this document as presented by Dr. Bernardo. Professor Walker, are you ready for the roll call vote?
Yes. Okay, so we're going to start with Veronica Jaramillo.
No.
Sheila Rose.
No.
Hermia Walker. No. John Henley. Oh, not here, sorry. Sorry about that. Bevel Constantine.
Yes.
Gita Indoor. Gita? I can't hear you. You're muted, Gita.
No.
I'm sorry, repeat one.
No.
Thank you.
No.
Thank you. Diane.
No.
Dr. Bernardo.
Yes.
Milan Aries. Sorry. Milan? Okay.
No.
Thank you. Jeffrey Winter?
No.
Thank you. I'm skipping past Richard Allen, Blanca Hernandez, and Brian Pagan. If any of you are here, please let me know. Okay. Talene Seropian?
Abstain.
Thank you. Jeff Hupp?
No.
Thank you. I'm passing by Miriam Altunji, Lori Gabriel. If you're here, please let me know. Carmen Steffens?
No.
Passing Mark Sakata and Tim Melnerick. If you're here, let me know.
Wait, I'm here.
Oh, you sure are. Thank you, Tim. Okay, how can I cast your vote? Yes or no?
No.
Or abstain? Thank
No.
you. Thank you. Vanitha Swaminathan, sorry.
Abstain.
Thank you. Lindsay Ruiz.
Abstain.
Okay. I'm passing Amy Tanahini, if she's here, let me know. Nope. Okay. Blanca Rodriguez.
No.
Thank you. Terry Solberg.
Taryn, abstain as well.
Sorry, Taryn, I apologize.
Okay.
Abstain?
Yes.
Thank you. Is Terry Stoddard here? It wasn't a minute ago. Okay. Move on to Ken Simon.
No.
No? Okay. Lena Hicks is not here. Margaret Bowles.
No.
Thank you. Jose Castanon.
No.
Thank you. Lyman Chafee.
No.
Thank you. Passing Michelle Ingram, Maria Fakuse, Joshua Hidalgo, John Matheson. Is anybody okay? Susan Bauer.
No.
Valerie Foster.
No.
Okay. Michael Vendrosco.
No.
Brian Wilbur.
No.
Okay. Russ DeFiore and Katie Rodriguez, alternates, are not here. Let's see. Joshua Fleming.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Roger Guerrero. Not here. Okay. Anthony Francuso.
Yes.
Thank you. Rebecca Johansson.
No.
No. Okay. Sylvia Ringon.
No.
No. And hold on. Christopher Oliver. Oh, that's it. Did I miss anyone? I voted already. Okay. So hold on.
We're waiting for a count. Or yes. Professor Walker, can you read those into the record, please?
Okay, so far, if my counting is correct, we have 4 yeses, 4 abstain, and 21 noes.
Okay, so with 21 noes, this motion does not pass and this is not approved. Okay, so we'll move on with the agenda. We have an addition. I'm sorry, go ahead, Lyman.
Yeah, my faculty is going to want to know what the future of this will be then. Is there going to be a rewrite and then come back to this, or is it just going to be sort of not moving for a while?
I think that will depend on the people who brought it forward. Okay, Professor Francoso.
Yeah, that was my same question. Is there any way where this could potentially be written where it can be acceptable to all our divisions? And is that a possibility for a rewrite to actually take place? Those are my questions.
Again, that's going to depend on who's bringing it forward. I believe the senators expressed that they wanted time to take it back to their division. So at this point, we'll have to, it depends on who's going to bring it back to the Senate. Yes, Brian.
Well, that's why we encouraged it to not go to a vote, so we could take it
Agreed.
to the divisions, but instead the vote was forced. So my understanding is that this is a non-starter. Otherwise, we'll have to vote on this every meeting from here on out. It's already been decided. And that's why we encouraged the forestalling this, so we could talk to our divisions. Am I correct?
I believe you are. And unfortunately, I'll have to check with our parliamentarian, well, our former parliamentarian, but I believe that is correct. Okay. So moving on to the next item, we had an addition to the agenda, and that was to discuss a statement from the Academic Senate in regards to the return to campus plan. And I'm going to ask Sheila Rose if you can set up breakout rooms. We're going to put you into breakout rooms, and then we'll give you what has been prepared so that you can read it, and then we'll discuss it as a group. Okay, so go ahead, Sheila.
Can you make me co-host, Gina?
I think I did. I didn't.
I'm not seeing the option to pick
Oops.
breakout rooms yet.
Okay, here we go. I apologize for that. You're right. Oh, Milan, you have your hand up. Go ahead.
Hi, is this under new business? As I take notes?
This is under new business.
Okay.
It was, the motion was made at the beginning of the meeting to add an addition to the agenda under new business, and that's what this is. Thank you for that question. Okay. So
I think it would be easiest if I just ask any of our non-senator participants if they could refrain from accepting the invitation to the room. So that would be our wonderful student rep, Eugen. Let's see who else is here. Judy, the amazing Judy, Nairi from Classified Senate. Thank you so much for being here, Nairi. And I believe that's it at this point.
Okay.
Just don't accept. Yes. So when it says you're invited to room so-and-so, you just ignore it. Okay. Are there, before we start those rooms, we need instructions. Yes.
Okay. So what we're going to do in these rooms, you're going to read what the proposed statement is. And then maybe have a brief chat about it, but then we're going to have a greater discussion in the larger group. Okay. I hope that's clear enough.
Has the statement been shared, Gina, with them?
No, not yet.
Okay.
I'm going to share it now. I just don't know if it's going to go to everyone. Let's see. Oops. Okay. Please bear with me. I am not techie. And as you all know, it's been a long day. Okay. Okay, I think I got it. This has not been shared with anyone other than you all in the Academic Senate. Sorry, here we go. I think I got it this time. Keep fingers crossed. Oh no, it says disk error. Hold on. Oh, never mind. Got it. Have to close it first. There we go. There we go. So there is the statement. Whoops. And Sheila, I think even though we have our 3 guests, I think we're okay to just read it and then have it in our large group.
Okay.
Okay, so don't worry about going to your groups. We just want to give you a few minutes to read the statement. And then we can have a discussion on it and put it towards a vote.
I'm sorry, Dr. Lopez, where's the statement? Is it in chat or?
I am so sorry. Yes, it's in the chat. I apologize if I didn't say that earlier. Can everyone see it?
Oh, there it is.
Okay.
No, wait. No, I don't think I see it.
Is anyone else having a problem seeing it? Okay, thank you for that. So Dr. Foster, I will try and I'll email you. Maybe
It's
that
okay.
will help.
Thank you.
Okay, or I could just share it on the screen. How about that? Give me a moment. Okay. There we go. Does anyone need more time to read this? It's a short and brief statement. I'm going to stop sharing. Okay. Is there any discussion on this? Well, yes, Lyman.
I know that the last few decades it seems to be that insure and ensure have become interchangeable, but I, for one, think that should be ensure during that last sentence, not insure. But that's because I'm a sticker about those kinds of things.
We will make that change. Okay, Tim.
I liked the inclusion of specific lines from the 10+1. I think it's entirely possible for someone in administration to say, yeah, we've heard all this from the FA already. And that language then makes it clear why the academic senate is stepping in to make a comment about this. So I thought that was a really good move.
Thank you. Jeff Hupp.
I like the statement. I'm glad that it has sort of a gracious vibe at the beginning to sort of acknowledge the difficulty that all groups and anybody making decisions is, it's a hard time. One thing I am curious about adding is a more direct statement about that, the college should not reopen like this until the surge improves. Something more specific like that. What do you all think?
I believe, well, again, it's hard to not step into working conditions. It's hard to, we're trying to stay within our purview of 10+1. And I'm not sure if saying that we think people should stay at home is within our purview or with the right thing for us to convey as the academic senate. I think that we definitely, state that this was crazy coming back today, but I'm not sure if we're in a position to say faculty should stay home.
I see. That makes sense.
Thank you.
Senate, that makes sense.
Okay, Rebecca.
I was concerned today after talking to the president about the change in testing policy with walk-up only and no drive-through. I think there's going to be a lot of problems with that. I don't know how exactly to say this, but something in there, not just clear and regularly updated communication, but like proper time to adjust how we're doing stuff when they make a big change like that. I didn't think of a good way to say it though.
Okay, maybe one of our wordsmiths can help with that wording. Okay, Milan. Thank you, Rebecca.
Thank you. As I look at the last paragraph, I think where it says uniform, non-threatening message from the deans to the faculty, we should include, to be grammatically correct, what we're asking for is a uniform, non-threatening message from the deans to the faculty, or either uniform, non-threatening messaging from the deans to the faculty.
Or messages.
Yeah, a uniform non-threatening message or messages, or either we could just say uniform non-threatening messaging, which would cover both. I think as it stands, it might be incomplete. And I think if we were trying to say, I don't know, so again, it's within our purview to speak on it, but perhaps if we were going to say an opening instead of a predetermined date opening, if we could voice that we think an opening, consistent with our governing, the states or governing bodies assessment of the current state of affairs of the variant or the pandemic. I don't know if that would be more, if we're saying instead of just having a set in stone date ahead of time, not knowing what the state of affairs is going to be at that time, and insisting with moving forward at this date because we arbitrarily picked this date, would it be within our area of, without stepping on toes, to be able to say we feel like a date that's consistent with, a current assessment of the state of affairs of the pandemic? Or would we be able to say that? I'm not certain.
As long as because what we talked about was a disruption of instruction. So if you could make that, speak to that in that statement, like we don't want instruction disrupted. We don't want our students, to experience this chaos in the classroom. As long as we keep it there, I think it'll be fine. And what I would recommend that you do is put what you want or what you think that wording should be in the chat. And then we can add it to the document.
Yeah, I don't think I could say what I was thinking without.
We have some English instructors in here, so maybe that could help.
I don't think I could get that message. I think what I'm saying is what I said. The date we should come back, instead of a hard and fast date, with a date that's consistent with what's currently going on. Disrupting instruction or not. Honestly, to be quite frank, I don't think any method or whenever we come back is going to be disruption free. I think, it's a chaotic period in time making this transition back. So even the best laid plans of mice and men, I think we were going to have stumbles. And I think to what someone was speaking to earlier, I think a grace period is kind of what she was trying to say between the implementation of a set of procedures or a set of practices. There should be some type of grace period to give people a chance to enact them, right? Because today I drove up and got tested thinking it was going to take 10 to 15 minutes. I'm due to be on campus tomorrow. Luckily I came today, but I was told you may not get your results till midnight. So if I was there to teach a class in an hour or so, as early as I thought I was prepared, it would have been for naught. So I think what we're talking about is, hey, if you're going to change something, give us a day to read the email, see how it looks, see how this is going to impact us, get it to our students. And then tomorrow, the following day, this is what's going to take place. So some type of grace period to transition between the already, between the already changing, because you're going to have people who drive up tomorrow. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind, people are going to drive up tomorrow that this is their first day. They teach Tuesday, Thursdays or whatever. They're going to drive up thinking I got the latest and greatest. And there's going to be no drive up. They're going to be met with cones or whatever. And the poor street, Bonnie Avenue is going to be obliterated. And the poor folks that live, on the other side of the street. But I mean, I yield my time.
Thank you. We appreciate that. Okay, Dr. Bernardo.
Hi, thank you. So it seems clear that in order to reopen safely, there not only needs to be policies and procedures in place, but there also needs to be means of executing the proper protocols and policies and procedures. So I understand that they wanted to pick this date in order to reopen fully. However, it seems like there are still a lot of issues that need working out, and this probably needs a little bit of time to be worked out. Otherwise, the chaos seems like it will continue. So there's been disorganization. There is not clear messaging, like the statement says. There aren't quick enough updates to faculty faculty. There's a lot of confusion, just who goes where and how, and do I even come on campus? And so there's been a lot of confusion. It doesn't seem like we're ready for reopening. And with this confusion and with this inability to execute the proper protocols, this is a significant disruption in the learning environment. And students are probably just as confused as we are, or even more so. So I think that that would probably be something to include.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Bernardo. Colleen?
Hello. Awesome statement. Thank you so much for doing that. I have one little thing, and I don't know. I think part of all of this, one of the byproducts has been a lot of divisiveness that has created in-group issues. So faculty looking a certain way to classified managers, things like that. And sometimes it's just the simple language we use, because ultimately we're all in it together. I hope we are. And so I wonder if at the end of the first paragraph's line, rather than saying a safe return to campus for faculty, staff, and students, we say for all employees and students. I know the word manager isn't in there, and I know many of us have concerns about managers, but not like also managers have the same concerns. And so I know it's very simple, but I do hope that we can think about it in terms of collegiality, that it would say to campus for all employees and students, because that is the case. Other than that, I thought it was great. You all do a fabulous job. Thank you.
Gina, I'm trying to capture these in a draft, these comments.
I was muted. Sorry. Thank you, Sheila. Okay, Brian?
A couple quick things. Milan was right on, or Senator Milan was right on with the points made here in that if you're going to make some of these issuances, maybe include a plan to return. If this is the statement drafted by the Senate, then we should have a potential set of circumstances where the Senate would be comfortable with returning to campus rather than saying no, maybe perhaps proffer a potential solution. Under what circumstances would the Senate be comfortable with returning to campus? Second is a point of editing. This is maybe how I edit my students' papers, but I would scrap the entire first paragraph as a concession to the opposition, and I would eliminate everything prior to however. Personally, I think that's writing that I teach my students not to do. Say what you mean what you say, make it clean, concise, eliminate what is unnecessary. In regards to the chaos that's been mentioned several times here, there is admittedly lots of chaos. Some of it was associated with testing, but in terms of the return to campus, that has been very consistent. Ever since January 1st, it's been very clear that we were to return to campus today. I would proffer that a lot of the chaos came from the PCC-FA emails coming in as late as 10:30 last night, encouraging insubordination. That's another issue altogether. That is part of the chaos. And that was not coming from the school, that was coming from PCC-FA. And that should be a consideration here as well when we consider chaos. Thanks for your time.
Okay, anyone else? Yes, Professor Constantine.
Yes, just in reference to the comment about the FA, I think the FA has been trying to stand up for faculty across the board, adjunct, full-time, non-tenured, and so forth. So I think, we need to be mindful of this. We have spent hours and hours in negotiations with the administration. And, I'm trying to bring a different approach to the FA and the relationship that they have with the administration. I know in the past, it seems as if, the FA and the administration is always against each other, but I'm still hopeful that we can find a way to work together. As someone just mentioned before, Talene, I believe we're in this together. So instead of, trying to say who's at fault and so forth, I think we need to collectively stay together because we're doing this for our students in the end. Thank you.
Thank you, Bevel. Okay. I'm willing to entertain a motion on this item, if there are no more questions.
Gina, so
Yes.
I was able to incorporate some of the comments. Shall I show the draft?
Yes, please. Okay, Brian, I see your hand up.
That what we do for students. And, you know, again, like I keep saying, I hope that's why we're all here. Thanks. Here.
Okay. Okay, Dr. Bernardo.
Is it possible to include something like, because it seems like our policies or the decision to return is out of step with the surrounding, colleges and universities, which have pushed their return date back to sometime in February, that it doesn't seem like we're in step with what everybody else is doing. And I don't know if PCC admin is following the science per se, but I just wanted to know if we could include something like our return is out of step with the surrounding colleges and universities.
Sheila?
So I understand your point, Dr. Bernardo. I think that the distinction here is that the FA is really handling the negotiations about the timing of the return to campus. And what we're addressing is the how of the return to campus and how it has disrupted the student learning experience. And so, and I also know that there are colleges like Mount Sac that went back 2 weeks ago. So I think we'd have to do some considerable research before we made that statement. But I really think the main distinction here is about the how versus the timing.
Okay, Dr. Wilbur, excuse me, Professor Wilbur.
I would also point out that this is more misdirection, forgive me, for the PCC FA. The first message that came out about a week ago pointed out that the UCs were not returning until mid-February. Our local UC, UCLA, is returning on January 31st. So in terms of what the UCs are doing, our local UC is coming back in a week.
Okay, Professor Swaminathan.
Yeah, I'm a little uncomfortable that the college has asked managers today to get the quick, to help out read the test results, enter information in the system, then send out emails to all staff with results. They're not qualified, and this is a very important matter. Because when people stand in a line, students stand in line, they're very, very concerned and worried that it might be positive tests and, the results might be positive. And so I'm very uncomfortable that this is happening, that the managers are reading the test results, and I'm going to send out by email to faculty, staff, and students. I think that is not correct, my opinion.
Okay, thank you. We are more than out of time on this item. Is there any more discussion? Okay. Is there a motion on this statement from the Academic Senate? Okay.
I move
Talene?
to,
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Bevel.
I move to approve the statement presented by the Senate.
Is that a second, Talene?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so we have a motion on the floor. If there are no objections, we can approve this by unanimous consent with the corrections that Professor Rose has updated the document with. Are there any objections? Okay, Professor Wilbur, is that an objection? Okay. Then, oh, you want to see the edits? Okay, Sheila. Just because she's a okay. Can you stop sharing, Sheila? Thank you. Okay. If there's still, you still have an objection, Professor Wilbur? Okay, then we'll need to do a roll call vote.
Thanks.
Mhm. Professor Walker, when you're ready.
Okie dokie. Let's see. Not sure who's still here, but I'll just read down the list. Veronica Jaramillo?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, thank you. Sheila Rose?
Yes.
Ramia Walker? Yes. Bevel Constantine?
Yes.
Geeta Indoor? Geeta? Okay,
Yes.
thank you. Diane Jerome?
Yes.
Okay. Dr. Bernardo?
Abstain.
Okay. Milan Aries?
Yes.
Okay. Jeffrey Winter?
Yes.
All right. Talene Seropian?
Yes.
Jeff Hupp? Is Jeff here?
Not here.
Okie dokie, thank you. Carmen Steffens?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, thank you. Tim?
Yay.
Melrick? Yes.
Yay.
Thank you. Vanita Swaminathan?
Yes.
Thank you. Lindsay Ruiz?
Yes.
Thank you. Blanca Rodriguez?
Yes.
Thank you. Taryn Solberg?
Yes.
Thank you. Ken Simon?
Yes.
Thank you. Margaret Bowles?
Yes.
Thank you. Jose Castanon?
Yes.
Thank you. Lyman Chafee?
Yes.
Thank you. Susan Bauer?
Yes.
Thank you. Valerie Foster?
Yes.
Michael Vendrasco?
Yes.
Thank you. Brian Wilbur?
No.
Thank you. Joshua Fleming?
Abstain.
Thank you. Anthony Francoso? Dr. Francoso, sorry.
Yes.
All right. Rebecca Johansson?
Yes.
Thank you. Sylvia Ringon?
Yes.
All right. And I will tally these now.
Oh, sorry.
Before I move on, I see a hand. Constantine, was there a question?
Oh, no, I'm just waiting. I have a question about a previous item that we voted on.
Okay. Chafee Lyman, is there a question? Did I miss it?
No, I'm just hoping that that we can. I want to send this out to my faculty, so if we could get a copy of that in the chat, that'd be great.
Yes. Okay, so Professor Walker, can you give us a count? And yes, Lyman, we can put that in the chat. I also want to ask the Academic Senate, just for clarification, is it a problem if I call you by your first name? Would you prefer to be your full name, or would you prefer Professor and your last name? I just want to be, I don't want to offend anyone. Okay. I'm not seeing too much pushback. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, Brian.
I certainly don't mind being called by my first name, but our understanding from a couple semesters ago that it's a parliamentarian issue, we might need to let the parliamentarian decide on that one by following Robert's Rules of Order. So I don't know if it's in our hands or not.
I remember that discussion, and I also remember that Matt kind of backpedaled on that one and said that, you know, it's really up to the Senate. Okay, Professor Walker.
I believe my counting's correct. If I'm wrong, please correct me. We have 24 yeses, 2 abstain, and 2 said no.
Okay, so let me mute everyone. We have a statement from the Academic Senate. So thank you all very much. Moving on, we have
Dr.
consent
Lopez?
items. Yes.
I had one question. Do we need a second in order to have a vote? You need a second to the motion, correct?
We had a second. It was from Talene Seropian.
No, in terms of the AP 7210, I think when Dr. Bernardo retracted her second,
She didn't retract.
Oh, she did not?
No.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Okay, Tim?
I was wondering if the statement could be posted to the Academic Senate webpage as well.
Yes.
That might be easier to refer people to.
Yes, we'll send it out to all the faculty. We'll also post it to the website. Thank you.
Great. Thank you.
Okay, so we have our consent items. We're on item number J. And we have 2 people who are making changes to the Academic Senate Subcommittee. Do I have a motion to approve these appointments?
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Dr. Jaramillo. And I see a second from Brian Wilbur. Thank you, Milan. Got him first. Okay, if there are no objections, well, is there any discussion on this? If there are no objections, we can approve this by unanimous consent. Are there any objections? Seeing none, these appointments are approved. Awesome. Okay, are there any proposed agenda items? Okay, Professor Constantine.
Yes, I know in the past, we were informed that the breakdown of the hiring committees was going to be made available to us in the Senate. So I was just wondering, who would we reach out to get that information from? And if it can be on the agenda for our next meeting.
I will look into that.
Thank you.
I believe that was something that Bob Bablinski was going to talk about today. Not sure why he didn't make it. Yes, Susan.
Yeah, I was just going to add, I think we were told that that would happen at the end of the year, but if he's going to comment, then we'll wait for that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, anything else?
Just one.
I'm sorry. Yes, Professor Constantine.
Yes, are we able to bring back the AP 7210 with some adjustments so that our faculty could take it to the constituents for discussion? Are we able to bring it back in our next meeting?
That's something that I'll have to consult with a parliamentarian or someone who's more familiar with Robert's rules than I am, because I'm not sure. That's why we try to not vote, because a forced vote does, carry some weight. Yes, Veronica.
Hi, I was going to ask if I could put together a small committee to work on 7210 because we would like to change the way that the faculty hiring prioritization is done. So if people could volunteer, I would love that.
Okay. So you all have Dr. Jaramillo's email address. Please email her if you're interested in being a part of that group. Okay. Any announcements? This has been a day. Thank you all for coming, for being here. This has been something else. Seeing no announcements, can I get I forgot what it's called. Can I get a motion to adjourn? Susan, thank you. Motion to adjourn. Do I have a second? I see Milan, thank you so much. Okay, we are adjourned. Thank you, senators. Thank you so much for all that you do as professors. Thank you for all that you do as senators. I appreciate you so much. Thank you. Have a great day. Be safe. Be safe. Be safe.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Goodbye.
Bye. Bye-bye. May the force be with you. Live long and prosper, Gita.